Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
I'm K Gods.
And I'm VZ Mark II.
Come on down. You're a contestant. No.
So it's been a while.
That show's still on, by the way.
Yeah, somehow.
It's not Bob Barker, though. It's
No,
Drew
it's
Carey hosting it
long
now.
since Bob Barker's retired.
Yeah. Which of course, my interest left when he did.
It's all repeats still.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Well, no, I'm saying the new ones have Drew Carey.
I know that. But I'm just saying, it's right now they're all repeats.
Oh, yeah. You mean you? Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's some new shows, game shows that are still doing that, but.
Like Jeopardy is. New.
Yeah. Those are new ones. Yeah, I've been watching them. So.
All right. Anything new? How's everyone doing?
Pretty good. I've been doing more exercising and shit.
I went on vacation.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, you wouldn't that have been more of a staycation?
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere, but
yeah, it's not like you went to Canada like you did that one time. I called you that one time, and all of a sudden he's fucking not even in the U.S. anymore. It's like, hey, what the fuck?
Staycation.
Like he didn't tell anybody either. He just went.
Is that like when Al Bundy did his quote vacation, but he stayed on the couch for a week?
It wasn't that bad, I'm sure.
No, it wasn't that bad. Not nearly that bad.
Yeah, like where the kids start bothering. He's like, I'm not here.
It just puts on different movies.
Yeah, yeah. Good old married with children. Anyway, as for other things, I watched Office Space last night. That was fun. Haven't seen that in a while. It was great.
I built a gunpla.
Oh, of which one?
It's that suit it's called the Messer. It's from Hathaway's Flash.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like burgundy and tan color.
All right.
But it's it's a large high grade UC. I usually don't build high grade UCs. I'm more of a master grade or 1/100 scale, but I like the design and it was a big one. It's pretty good. Some parts pop off easily, and I had to glue a few things.
Speaking of which, did you just like order that, or was it one of those things like it was in your local bookstore? Because Barnes and Noble, for example, has Gunpla.
Oh, I know. I ordered it, but like a month and a half ago. So.
All right. Yeah.
I still have a master grade I haven't built yet. I'm waiting for a good day.
You and me both.
Between this episode and the last one, I'm not sure if I mentioned that I ended up getting my license, but I did. When I say license, I renewed it. Which was a pain in the ass, I'm not going to lie. I was there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just as bad as you imagine. It always is at the DMV. What else? Oh yeah. When the best thing is that the directions weren't very clear because they were doing things kind of wonky because of COVID. Because they were only letting X amount of people in, and they had like this really fucking weird zigzag line that wasn't very clear what the fuck they were doing.
Oh.
And then you had like some jackass Baldy McFuck that wasn't really helpful.
See, because I had 2 doctor things in 2 weeks, and everything is kind of, despite the COVID, everything is like become more efficient.
Not like around here.
Like my eye doctor thing, has actually gotten much faster because there's far less people now.
Well, the funny thing is they guided me. The dude in question guided me to the wrong fucking spot first. Yeah. So it's like, no, you were supposed to go there and get your picture first before you. And I'm like, what? Well, why didn't you fucking say that?
Yeah.
Have a fucking sign or something if you're fucking illiterate.
Yeah.
And anyway, so they moved me over there to take my the new photo. So I'm like, okay, I took my hat off and everything else. Like, okay, and you only get one chance. They don't fuck around. You know what I mean? They don't let you take multiple shots. So I look like I'm on a most wanted poster or some shit. It's just kind of funny. I look all pissed off.
Have you seen this man?
Yeah, exactly. Like on fucking yeah, exactly. Tonight on hard copy. Anyway, had that done. I don't know if I mentioned that or not last time, so I'm mentioning it now. Pretty cool. Now I don't have to do it again for another 4 years. That's always good. But here's the kicker though, is that also what I did is I ended up pre-ordering the Gundam Seed Box.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like a deluxe thing. It comes with a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I've went into detail about that, but it has it's the new remastered Blu-ray, of course.
Right.
Right, with all the updates and everything, where they cleaned up the CG and some of that stuff. It also comes with the original version, that just the HD DVD or whatever original version that has the old dub, just I guess for nostalgia's sake.
Mm.
And it also comes with the movie versions, the compilation movies 1, 2, and 3.
See, I didn't even know the thing had compilation movies.
They're not that great. Most of them are not in general for Gundam.
Nah.
The only one I can think of that was good was the original one.
Yeah, that's the only one that's like
the Zeta ones I don't like.
I seen the Turn A ones. That's how I thought Turn A in like the early 2000s originally was.
Well, let me finish. There's more.
Oh, okay.
It comes with those. I don't know if those are Blu-rays or not, but it comes with those. It comes with like 128 page art book or something like that.
Does it come with the Seed OVAs? I mean the Seed the Asteroid.
Oh yeah, the little commercials almost.
Yeah, they were like.
Yeah, I think it does. I'm pretty sure those are like bonuses on it, like the red and blue frame.
Yeah, and the one that has the Gundam with the big O around it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it does.
That's the one you're talking about, Stargazer.
It doesn't have that because that's part of Destiny.
Yeah, wow. See, I'm glad. See, I love how it was like, the Gundam with the big ring around it. It's like, and I love how like Anubis knew.
Yeah, that's congratulations, because that's basically all I know about Seed.
Well, the thing is I actually like Stargazer a lot, compared to Destiny at least. The problem with that, I could go on and on about that, so I won't. But anyway, it comes with so here to recap, it comes with the new remastered versions on Blu-ray, the old, which has a whole new dub. I don't care about that, but it does.
Yeah.
It's got the old one, which has the old dub, and it's the DVD version.
Does it have the Cartoon Network censor with the disco guns? No.
I hope not. It comes with the compilation movies, which there's only a couple of reasons. It's got a couple new scenes. That's the only real reason you'd watch them. You get to see Rao's actual face. And you also get, spoiler alert, you get to see Flay fucking.
The only seed, the only of the original seed I saw was like on Cartoon Network, and I wasn't impressed at the time. But
I'm sorry.
To be fair,
commercials, really bad censorship.
Yeah, and my criticisms were more superficial. Like, I don't like those character designs.
Well, in any case, it comes with a big art book.
No, I mean, that's great that it has all that. That's.
Oh yeah. It should. It cost enough. But I got it. I wanted it. I have a really weird attachment to the old dub. I don't know why. It's not technically that great. I mean, there's a couple of character voices I thought were good, but some of them I actually did not like at all. But it's there. So, and you can watch it any way you want. I think that's the point. Whether you wanted to watch the short movie compilations, the old version, or the new cleaned up one, however you want to do it. In any case, yeah, exactly. Options. They know what you want. And so I picked up that. Here's the kicker though about that is that I ordered it right, and they don't charge you until they ship it out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
For the pre-order, right? And that's fine. But here's the thing: my debit card runs out next month for the year.
Oh.
It expires. And obviously they'll give me a new one like I had before. But the thing is I'm worried about is it's going to expire, and then they're going to try to charge me, and it's not going to work.
Ooh, well, here's the one thing about Right Stuff with a pre-order is you might get it like a month early.
It says December 1st. They're shipping them
Yeah.
out.
But you might get it in like November.
Well,
It's probably
okay.
if
I
they
mean,
get it in, they'll
right.
start sending them out.
Okay. Well, I mean, that actually would be preferable at this point because, I mean, it's good until the last day of November. Right.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
positive they have some kind of apparatus where, if they try and charge the card and it's declined, they'll send you a message and say, "Hey, what are we gonna do about this?" And you'll just give them the card.
I actually ordered a movie on Amazon too, because it was a nice price. It's the Sound Euphonia movie.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, in any case, I'm actually kind of hoping you're right and they actually ship it early. That would be excellent because then I know for sure it would charge and everything would go through smoothly.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it whenever you get it when they send it, and whenever the bank sends it to you. So I mean, it could happen 2 weeks before it expires. It's all depends.
Yeah.
I mean, so in any case, I'm just really worried about that because, and you're right, they have an apparatus. It's just kind of one of those, I don't want to go through that bullshit because it's always annoying. Not really their fault on this one, I would say. I mean, hell, it's mine because I wasn't really thinking about it when I ordered it. I just like, ooh, order, I had a coupon for it.
I actually want to look that up, see how much that is.
Okay. Prepare yourself.
I just want to see everything that's with that.
Yeah. Let's just say it's Aniplex level prices, almost.
But you're getting a whole thing, so
you are getting a lot though. You're getting, like I said, the old version, the new one, the movies, like over 2 hours of like interview stuff and promo shit.
Oh, I see. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
there's
you're
a
not
lot
kidding
of
though.
stuff.
That's a whole lot.
I told you. But if you think about how much is in there, it really isn't.
Well, it's like if you're really into Gundam Seed, it's well worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Is it the worst? Yeah, in the chat, is it considered the worst? No, it's not.
No.
Speaking of the chat,
at the very least, Age is probably took that, which is hilarious because you never hear anyone talk about Age anymore.
Like at all. Like
no,
never. Not even in a derisive way.
Yeah, it's like everyone forgot about it.
Huh.
Anyway, speaking of the chat,
even in the Mecha, Mecha board, unfortunately, I don't see people.
Yeah, of course, because everyone forgot about it.
People at least make fun of G Savior, or something like that. I mean, this doesn't even get that.
Yeah. The next, if I'm gonna watch an AU Gundam, next I gotta see. What?
Go for X.
Oh, all right. Because I was gonna say G. I've been really needing to see G.
G is another really good one.
Because
the thing is, X
G,
is the only one.
X is the. You already saw Wing.
Yeah, and Wing is the most painfully dull thing.
I mean, G is good. X is good.
I saw Turn A.
Turn A is very good. IBO is good, but don't ask me to watch it.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed what I saw, but didn't enjoy the mecha designs. If I'm gonna sit through 40 episodes, I need to like the designs.
I'm gonna be real. I just like fucking Gallarhorn. I like the name. I like the visual.
Yeah, I actually wanted to.
I
like their designs. As a matter of fact,
it's not the main gun. What I was watching this week. That's not part of the new season. That you guys be interested in.
Porn?
No. Well, it's mecha porn.
Which will tie in later.
Hey, foreshadowing.
So I've been rewatching Galgaigar. I haven't seen that in 10 years.
Oh wow! That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, Galgaigar is such a good mecha show. And the thing is, I've been trying to experiment with watching some of the other Brave series. I don't have to name which ones, but they just, I don't know what it is, but the other ones aren't as interesting to. I'll still watch some more of the other ones. But Galgaigar just really sort of got everything right. Since it was the last one of the Brave series, it's like they kind of accelerated all the points. It also helps that it actually looks, I don't know what it is, but it looks higher budget than the other ones. And I actually knew about Gagagar fairly early on, like 1998, like a year after it ended. I had it on one of my Sentai tapes that I used to get. Like, this was like, tape buying by, some of it was just raw. Talking the 90s. And on the end of one had like some of the later episodes of Gagagar, and I'm like, holy shit, what is this? I need more. And I actually got like,
yeah, it's like you got like the IV, put it right into my veins.
Yeah. Well, let's.
Or no, you sound like Barney from The Simpsons when he's fucking starting to get drunk again. It begins.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I also got like the first 6 episodes out of that.
I love that you knew what I was talking about.
What's funny is, just like how I told you about how I discovered Grand Sword by chance, and that's a Sunrise show with Kuniya Okinawa Designs. Same thing with Galgai was, I discovered the show by chance.
Right.
With Kuniya.
I did watch something.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm probably gonna start watching Fate. I'm not being pressured.
I gotta get into the Fate franchise.
Well, I've been wanting to for a while, but it's one of those things where you hear stuff about where to start, and then there's all this other shit, and there's.
I'm like, can you just do like a movie that has Passion Lip? And also Janako, which is the chubby.
Well, that's not what I watched. I'm planning on it. So next time we roll out, I'll probably. Yeah. We're not going to renounce that.
Which one did you watch?
I watched a new Era anime actually.
Oh, all right.
I think you guys would like it. It's called Isekai Harem Monogatari.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, you gotta love the name. It's just like what it says on the fucking tin. Guy shows up in the world. He's fucking like elves and priestess chicks and shit. It's like
it's like what all the other regular isekai shows
would be like in real life.
Yeah, it's like
like
no, we're not doing any.
And for those of you out there who want to know about this, it's not like NTR or anything like that. It's I don't want to say it's wholesome because it's reasonably foul, but as far as porn goes, it is. It's pretty fun. It's done by Majin Petite. Gotta love that brand name. Majin Petite. No, it's not related to Dragon Ball Z in any way. It's not like Majin Buu or or anything like that. Anyway, it was the second episode. It's pretty fun. It's, again, doesn't have no ugly bastards or NTR or anything like that. So, unfortunately, VZ, it does not have any really lollies. The closest you get is a nun.
That's okay.
Who happens to be somewhat small, but not technically one. No.
Anything, Anubis?
I showed the girlfriend all of Girls in Panzer.
Great.
And,
that must have been fun.
It was very fun going back through it, and we watched some of the OVAs as well.
Nice.
So
very cool.
We still need to see the movie.
Not the one, the Der film, but the things after it, the one where it's like six movies and they made 2 so far.
No, we still need to see the movie, like Der film.
All right. Those are great. Those have been great. The ones where it's like the third movie's just gonna come out next.
So it's that, and I showed her the 3 Mobile Suit Gundam movies.
Now that must have been fun. Hopefully the first one didn't drive her away too badly because it is kind of slow.
No, it.
Because believe it or not, the first time I tried to watch it was back when the VHS era, and it was the dub, and I honestly had a hard time. Because it was just so slow and everything else. I mean, obviously I love it now, but
yeah.
Well, again,
My attention span wasn't as good back then.
my introduction to First Gundam was actually more absurd to that. Where again, I like the novel to the second one.
Jeez, the one with all the wonky ass localizations.
Yes. This was the early 90s, and it was like the
Where they still spelled Xeon with an I.
Or again, Char was spelled Sha.
Sha, yeah.
Zaku is Zach, and
again,
yeah. I like
that's pretty rough, man.
But see, I wish I knew what happened tonight because I did a book report for 7th grade. I would love to know where that ended up because I would have loved
the
to
book
know
report.
I would have loved to know what I wrote.
Speaking of book reports in school, oh boy. I've got one for both of you guys that you and I think it was 3rd grade. I'm pretty sure it was. Yes, yeah. I still remember this. They made us do journal entries every week.
Oh,
that was part of writing time, right?
Yeah, journal writing was the toughest thing for me.
The thing is the thing was it wasn't private either, so don't do anything too secretive.
Yeah, see that was the thing. Creative writing was the toughest thing for me.
Oh no, it was the easiest for me because it was the easy. I didn't have to make shit up. I just here's what I did, basically. And one of the things that was really funny was I would talk about video games and shit like that. Again, this was a time when less people were cool with that. I know some of the younger folks are like, "What are you talking about?" Back when I was a kid, being into video games wasn't considered cool at all. In fact, you got mocked pretty bad for it.
Unless you were like, because some of the more, I want to say the jock ear kids or
they were the ones they didn't like them at all.
The Guido kids were they were into video games, but it was more like it had to be either Mario or sports games, kinda.
Yeah, not even that. Not even that from my department. I mean, we're talking about an area where you got beat up if you were a Pokemon fan.
So, okay, that's a little bit later from my era.
Well, yeah. This is later from what I'm talking about too. I'm just telling you an idea of where I live here. Not even a ghetto thing. It's just like, no, we don't like this thing. Before that, it was Power Rangers that got you beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you acted like that, your ass was cracked.
Yeah, I was like,
I saw a kid get the shit beat out of him on that before.
Yeah, I probably would have been that kid because I was like, I don't care what you get. If I like something, I like something.
Yeah. Whereas, like, yeah, that would not have been a smart thing to do around here with that age. But anyway, we had to do. It wasn't called creative writing. It was just like, but it was part of learning cursive and all that other shit. You know the thing they said we'd use for the rest of our lives, and then like 5 years later they want us to print because they can't read it.
Yeah. So, but do you remember anything that you wrote?
Oh, I do actually. That's the sad thing. I actually remember distinct things I wrote about. Like I remember writing about the fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle NES game. and like bitching about that fucking part that angry video game nerd bitching about, where you can walk right over the thing. Dude, I was fucking railing about that. I was like, are you fucking yanking me?
I actually do remember one thing in the book report that I wrote. I was able to figure out, I was like, oh, okay, the people live in space now and they're psychics.
And like, again, since it got, and it wasn't part of that, and I think this was a year or two later, and it was more creative writing. It wasn't like journals or anything where we just had to write stories. And I don't remember what it fully was about. I just remember it being inspired by the Battletoads level where you're descending into the hole with the ropes. And these like electrodes and crows and shit are there.
Yeah.
And I just distinctly had this ridiculous part where I said a crow cut the rope and we fell through the roof of a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. I was just making shit up.
They were like, this was like, what's to imagine? Can only imagine.
No, the entire class erupted into laughter when I said that. So, it served its purpose. It was meant to be funny. It made no sense, but it was meant to be funny.
Can I go to the principal office?
That happened more than you would like to know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that right now. That was more true than you're probably even making fun of. Because what they used to do for punishment back then for us is usually they would, obviously take away your recess privileges. But besides that, they also made you write sentences, which was not fun. And if you didn't complete them, you got added 25 more or something like that. Like if you didn't finish, the next time you had to actually write 25 more than you originally did. It's fucking ridiculous. And then there were some people who got it so bad they were up to like 500 sentences or some shit. Crazy stuff.
I had to do the the thing where you write the thing, like the Simpsons gag where Bart writes on there, I will not do blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, I used to do stuff like that.
But they made you write in the book in your book, and I had to do one because apparently I yawned.
Oh, did they take that as a personal affront?
Yeah.
Like, you think I'm boring?
Yeah. No, that's not it. I was probably tired,
It's like, what do you think I'm boring? Well, yeah, but that has nothing to do with why I yawned. The best is when you saw kids just completely fucking go ape shit and just they had to fucking call multiple people to take them down, basically. That was always the best because, like, you'd have fucking coaches in there with whistles and shit. At one time, the principal, I don't know if I've told this story before. Again, I know this is a tangent, but he took the soccer ball away from everybody. Everybody was playing it, or football to you over in Europe that are listening. Can't leave out the Germans, I guess. Anyway, he took the soccer ball and was sitting there holding it under his arm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just sitting there with his hand on his hip and holding it under his arm, and then like blowing his whistle and being a total dickhead and everything else. But then something interesting happened. The BD kid, behavioral disorder is what it stood for. Kid came up behind it, punched the ball out from under him, took it, scooped it, and started hauling ass with it.
Oh, wow.
While he's screaming and blowing the whistle. It was fucking hilarious. While he was making like noises and running and shit. Good times. Anyway, Anubis.
So we got the season chart. New season started.
Yes. I actually watched a bunch of things. Not everything yet, but
so what we're going to do is go to anychart.net/fall-2020, and we're going to sort that shit alphabetically by title.
I'm going to talk about things that we either seen or things that we're interested in seeing.
Come on, hang on. Give me a second. It's not sorting here now. By title, you say?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. I don't want to be like lost.
Yeah, alphabetically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's title. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're just gonna kind of run down the list here.
Yeah. So the first thing that I haven't watched yet, but do want to check out is Yashahime, the sequel to Inuyasha. Hanyo no Yashahime.
That's not the first one. Is it?
No.
Well, it's not the first, but it's the first one I want to talk about.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're talking about things that we're just we're personally interested in, not every show.
Okay, yes, okay. I was like ready to go run down the list. I'm like, hey, where the fuck are you guys at? Sorry, I guess I wasn't paying enough attention.
But yeah, that's one I want to check out because I don't know how many people know this, but Inuyasha was my shit back in the day. Like
that must have been a big shit.
It's a long.
I'm making fun. I was exactly. I was trying to point out that it was a pretty long show.
Yeah, I used to be all about Inuyasha. So, but the thing is, I fell off on Inuyasha hard like halfway through the series and picked it up later on. And
did you just get tired of hearing him yell Kagome in a weird fucking way?
Well, it's not even just that. I just kind of fell out of it.
Yeah.
And then like picked it up later, and they were on like a completely different conflict.
Kagome. Yeah.
The Bleach syndrome, basically Bleach.
Pretty
No,
much.
nothing could be that bad. Where like there's the old joke was that is that Bleach has more characters than a Twitter post. Get it?
I mean,
Yeah.
like, I left off the thing, and it was, I think it was shortly after Koga got introduced, and like everyone got involved with that, and then I dropped off, and then I picked up like when they were in the middle of the Band of Seven arc, wherever that is.
Geez.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah, I could see where that would be something where you're just kind of like, I'm completely fucking lost.
Yeah. So I didn't
People don't
bother to
understand.
finish
Some
it.
of these shows, you really do have to pay attention. Because, I mean, yeah, you could catch up, but it's not the same. It's like, you could read a synopsis, it's just not the same, though.
Yeah, it really is not.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
basically
yeah,
like a soap
it could
opera.
dump you kind of where you need to be, but
But it's like 167 episodes for the original series, and then an additional 26 for the final act.
Yeah.
And so,
few movies too, right?
quite a few movies,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's much like DBZ. There's quite a few movies.
of which
No,
I've only seen
I-
the first.
Yeah, I think me too. Yeah. Obviously, most people remember it because it was airing on TV.
Yep. Adult Swim.
And I think everybody remembers that ending theme with her on the bike.
I remember the ending theme with her on the Ferris wheel.
Well, there you go. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They
Like,
progressed.
Inuyasha
I don't know.
Inuyasha is a pivotal part of me growing up as an anime fan. Like, I can't. You will not find me legitimately shitting on Inuyasha.
Kind of the same with me and Sailor Moon and various other things. I mean, I do prefer the first couple seasons. I didn't like the outers as much. Again, nothing personal. Maybe it's just stubbornness and not wanting change. But like, I don't know. I just couldn't get into them as much. Again, nothing personal. I just like original and R. And again, I saw it early on in my anime career, if you want to call it that.
Okay. Anything else?
So I know this is part of it. I did watch the first episode of the new Strike Witches.
I'm just gonna chime in and say that's one I'm going to. I haven't done it yet, but I'm planning on it.
So far, it's good.
I have the episode. Heard nothing but good things about it.
I'll talk about when I get to, but no spoilers, obviously.
Yeah, don't do that. It's still pretty new. We should point out that this one was done by, it appears, David Production.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they've handed off the
Yet again.
handed it off to another studio yet again.
This is the
and-
fourth one.
Yeah,
But everybody says it looks really good.
it looks
That's what.
really
Yes,
good.
it does. It actually does look really, probably the best looking of the four.
They're
And that's
not
saying a
playing
lot
around.
because none of them looked bad.
No. The second one, which was AIC Plus, had a couple issues with the CG.
Yeah, and again, they rounded the faces a little bit. From what I remember.
I mean,
I
the
have
one
a
I
soft
really
spot
had.
for the Gonzo's look, though.
Well, of course. So
that-
that
Well,
was the first
not
one.
only that, but the original voice actress for Mio
Right.
That too.
with the high pitched laugh.
I mean, the one I really
yeah, they
had
changed
problems
the
with
voice.
was the TV broadcast specifically of Brave Witches.
Yes.
The show itself was fine. It had people complained about it having sort of a muted color palette, which it did.
That's a fact.
But-
Yeah, they were in
but-
Russia as well, so that kind
Well,
of
yeah,
makes
I
sense.
was gonna say like it's mostly in like the USSR, so like a lot of that made more sense for it to have a lot of dull blues and grays and shit.
Yeah, environmentally, it makes a lot of sense. That
Sure. it does.
that's probably the part of that aesthetic that I least had problems with. I thought and again, this is just going off the TV broadcast, which is what I watched. I know they fixed a lot of this in the disc release, which is which good on them
enjoyed it.
because there was a lot that needed fixing.
I'm surprised you're not watching. Let me find the name of the show. It's the one with the girls. It's another Moe military thing, but it's like girls in planes.
I know
get to
there
it.
was the Magnificent Kotobuki that came out a couple seasons ago, and I still need to get back on with that.
Oh no, that's not it. But
Thing that might be on here we'll be talking about. So
yeah.
and okay, anything else? I mean, that's one I'm gonna check out. Not the only one, but it is one of them.
Nothing's jumping out at me, no. Like really the only thing, because anything else that I'd be interested in is a sequel that I haven't watched the immediate thing preceding it. So like Love Live, there's a new Love Live coming out. I can't watch it because I
Fucking
haven't finished,
fantastic.
and I'm hearing nothing but good things about it. Can't watch it though because I haven't finished the original Love Live. There's the new Gochi Usa.
Yeah.
Can't watch
great
that
also.
because I haven't finished the first one.
Okay, I'll go ahead and talk about some stuff I'm gonna plan on watching.
Go for it.
The third season of Danmachi.
Oh,
Naturally.
I enjoy it. It appeals to the RPG nerd in me, of course. Yeah, and everything I've heard has been nothing but good. JC Staff does it. Again, for people who out there who don't like JC Staff, sorry.
People are fronting on JC stuff. Like
the
don't
thing
even
about,
get it.
like I said, the thing about JC Staff, my assessment is not that they're not bad, they're not terrible. It's that they're the average, they're the median.
I
They're
don't
the
even.
most.
I wouldn't even really say
most-
that. They're pretty good at what they do.
They're good
One-
at but they're definitely the what's that thing? Quantity over quality. Even though they've done some really good things.
I mean,
Well, that's not all I'm planning on watching.
I mean, sure, but I don't know.
Anyway, this will take forever if we stall any longer here.
All right, then I guess I should talk. Unless
No, I'm not done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, one thing I might check out, I'm not sure if I'm going to yet, it's sort of kind of hovering in the maybe zone, is the new Dragon Quest thing.
Oh yeah, I know you like Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Again, RPG, but it's made by Toei Animation. But as far as I know, I don't think the designs are done by Akira Toriyama, which is just heresy.
I told you that was actually one of my really earliest anime before I knew what anime was.
Right. Obviously,
that was on.
This
that
isn't
was
the
on
same
Regal-
one, obviously.
Yeah, that was on Rego TV. And the thing was, I didn't know it was even a game until I saw a commercial for it. I'm like,
But as far as I know, I don't think the art is done by
Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, which of course makes it really kind of a puzzling head scratch because he did all the art for the fucking actual games. So it's like, why not? I mean, could you just not get? Again, I don't think he did it. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm not. It's just not jumping out.
The one that I saw in 1990, that was definitely Toriyama. But
Yeah.
especially looking at now where it's like, that looks like some of the characters look right from Dragon Ball.
And, yeah, I mean, his style is very well. His style is his own. It's spottable from a mile away. I mean, he did the Chrono Trigger art, and again, and even then, you can see like, oh, Magus looks like Piccolo, or Luca looks like Bulma, or something like that. All good stuff.
Yeah.
But
There's a guy that's kind of like who's the fat guy in Dragon Ball Z? Dragon Ball, the one that like he doesn't really do anything, but he cut.
Yeah, Yajirobe.
That's it. Yeah, there's a character like that. But what's great is I don't know if this was in the Japanese one, but definitely in the dub, they named him Loco. He was like the stupid character. He was like the
I'm just thinking that was one of the original names they probably attempted to name Wheeler from fucking Captain Planet.
Well, it was
I-
great. It was like the main character that looks like Goku. He gets the cool armor, and then the guy that's like Master Roshi, because there's a guy's like, oh, I have something for you, and he gives him like the stupid armor made from like bones or something. I remember that too. You know what the thing is? Because I actually rewatched some of it a few years ago. It's maybe not the thing I would want to watch now, but I could definitely see what the appeal was for me at that age.
See, I just
Like
like,
you're
hey, who's the fat guy from Dragon Ball Z who doesn't do anything? Oh, Yajirobe. Everyone knows that. Like,
Hey, well, it's true. I mean, like, there's not a lot of fat characters, and even less that are completely useless.
well, it's like here's the thing. It's like name one thing Yajirobe does that's significant.
Well, here's the crazy thing. He's actually not useless. In fact, without him, they all would have died.
Yeah.
You know, that's the hilarious thing, because when Vegeta comes to Earth, you know, like, he goes into his Great Ape mode, and he fucking just starts obliterating him. And you know, except for plot armor, there's no way they could have won. You know what I mean? Based on pure levels of power and all that kind of shit. But no, he jumps out of fucking nowhere and yanks his tail off with the sword, and then runs off. And it's like, it's funny because if he didn't do that, they all would have died for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, he is pretty useless, but there has been one or two times where
He's useless except that one time
yeah,
where
exactly.
he saved everybody's life.
Yeah, and a completely fucking, I guess because he's such a wuss and an idiot that he didn't have any real detectable power for him to see it coming, I guess.
Oh, I found the name of that plane show I was telling you about.
Lay it on me.
Warlords of Sig Drift. Oh God, I can't say it.
Damn, son, where's the rings dropping? Is that one R?
Where's the
No, it's
fail?
not.
Actually, it's
That's
in
not R.
Where's the fail
Senyoko
part?
no Sig Drifa.
Where
Yeah, so-
where is any drop in that's significant? Because I have. Jesus, I need to reorganize these drop-ins. Here's the fail horn.
Oh, it was nice to hear.
Yeah.
What was it
Yes.
called? Because I missed all of that in.
Senyoku no Sig Drifa.
Yeah.
Aha, okay, here it is.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. It's A1 Pictures.
Yeah, it looks nice. I've seen some of the pics.
Well, A1 Pictures usually does look nice.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got the Aniplex money behind them.
Yeah. All right.
So let's
okay,
let's do the rundown then.
all right.
Unless
So-
you guys want to dilly dally some more about.
No, I
fail
want to talk
horns and-
about. Can I talk about the ones? If that's okay, or unless
it
you
up.
got anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. So my first pick, which I actually watched, was Dachi to Shimamura, which is a. Although I heard that the manga doesn't want to call it a Yuri series, but it pretty much is a Yuri series.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like, those are the names of the two girls you see there. Plus there's some other girls. There's a nice glasses wearing girl with large breasts that I like. And it's good. I need another episode to decide if I like it more, because it is a new thing, and I don't know where it's gonna go. But it definitely looks nice. I actually like the palette that they did with it. It's hard to describe. So
Okay.
let me see. Okay, I'm not watching this one, but I'm gonna bring this one. One, it's because of Shaft, and two, because it's actually based on a line of dolls that the company Ozone makes called Assault Lily Bouquet.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or not. I'm kind of ambivalent on the whole. Again, it's just, other than Monica, you really have to like wow me with the whole kind of the magical girl thing, and I don't know if this is battle girl thing anyway. So maybe I'll just wait for that one to end and then I'll watch it. And I didn't care for the new Monica, by the way. from earlier this year.
Yeah, I knew it came out. I didn't hear a lot of fanfare.
No, it really did not.
Which is surprising.
It kind of, it was supposed to be big, but it kind of became a dud. They closed the U.S. version of the game.
Yep.
Ah, okay. So what else are you looking at?
Ghost Yusa, the third one. I watched that yesterday. That was great. New studio, but it looks perfectly fine from the last one.
Mm-hmm. This one's Encourage Films, it looks like.
Yeah, but it almost looks identical to the original. It's kind of more the same in terms of content, but that's fine. Sometimes the same can be all you really need. In a show like this, it doesn't have to elevate. It doesn't have to do, but as long as it's providing the same sort of content, that's good.
What's going on?
Oh, I was testing my number. Sorry about that.
He's got COVID. Get back.
No, listen. They tested me 2 weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago. Like, they didn't do the main test, but they did the antibody test, and there was no antibodies.
Virus.
No, there was no antibodies, which means I wasn't.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm surprised you didn't check out either of you aren't checking out this one, even though I haven't either. Iwa Kakeru Sport Climbing Girls, which is basically about girls in indoor rock climbing.
The girls look really attractive in it. It's made by Blade.
Let me see.
I saw pictures of it and I was like, just visually it looks nice. I don't know if it would be interesting necessarily for me content wise, but visually I like the character designs.
Now the next one is I was disappointed by watching this first episode because you'll think, oh, this would be a decent series, and it was like, no, it was completely boring. Kuma 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 Bear, which is basically saying the same thing 4 times.
But you gotta love the name of the studio, EMT Squared.
Yeah. Really boring. I don't have a problem with isekai as a concept, but it was just like
it is starting to wear a little thin.
Well, my thing with isekai is you have to have a gimmick that's so, exponentially interesting. Like last year, they had the one with the mom. That was funny.
Well, and that was fun around Comic Market.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm still waiting for the anime to vending machine isekai. We know it's gonna happen. It has to. There's no way they can just let that go without an anime.
Well, they're doing that one. I maxed out my level or something.
I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level.
Yes.
That one I could have told you would get an anime because it's excellent.
So yeah, don't bother with this one. Shame because the main girl looks like Yoshiko from Love Live. And speaking of which, it's not boring. The new Love Live.
I would watch it. I need to. That's one of those things I've still only seen the first season of. I need to get on my ass.
First off, not to knock the original production values, but something about this just looks even better.
It's Sunrise, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the same studio.
Yeah.
It's the same studio, obviously, but it's the character design style that's different.
Right. Now, sometimes that can actually go the other way. I mean, I don't like the High School DxD, the new way they went with it. I think they kind of robbed it a little bit of its fun qualities. With the character designs,
I've seen shows where they change the character design.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not as good as it used to be. I mean, I think they sort of streamlined it in a way that I didn't like.
Yeah. The girl with the brown, slightly greenish hair, her name is Kasumi. Let me see where she is in the image.
Yeah, I see her.
Yeah, she's in the back. Yeah, she totally steals the show. She's basically that, I'm the cutest girl. Don't you think I'm the cutest girl? What? Yeah, you don't think I'm the cutest girl? So she's basically like cute on the outside, bitch on the inside.
Fun.
Yeah. She's great, and of course anything with Rena, which is the one with the notepad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Today I watched Maesetsu, which is from the same original mangaka's Lucky Star. Providing the character design. Wait, hold on.
What's that, man? Turn that off.
I'm busy talking my phone. Sorry. Hold on. You good,
We're still here.
guys? All right. Wait.
We're having some technical issues here.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to go live to
Oh, no, real quick in the news, because well, here's the thing: is this is news, but we don't. But it's like gonna take 18 seconds because it barely even matters. Horrible subs, shut down,
Yes, they did.
and were pretty much almost immediately replaced.
By like at least 10 different new ones.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So it does. While you were out, we were covering the 18-second news story of horrible subs shutting down.
Yes, I heard it. But
And,
guess what? Other people.
It was like a Hydra. You cut off one head, like 5 grew back.
Yeah. Okay, so Maesetsu. I thought it was okay, but here's the thing: it's not going to be for everyone.
Obviously,
It's not a show for everyone. Because it's about that type of Japanese comedy where the manzai routine.
Mm.
And apparently that's such a turnoff to a lot of people.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about or not?
I do. I'm just not going to go into detail.
Okay.
It's not necessary.
Yeah. The ANN did not like this.
Of course not.
are we surprised?
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, come on now. ANN doesn't like an anime. Wow.
And Studio Gokumi's a good studio.
Anyway.
All right.
That whole bit kind of threw off my mojo.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the main topic.
Wait, I still got more. Hold on. I'm almost done. Yeah, Ochiko Bore Fruit Tart. I'm watching that tomorrow. That looks great. It's from the same manga as Hana Yamata.
So it's probably perverted.
Yeah.
Don't you just love that?
And the new Strike Witches I watched. Which,
again, la 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 la. I'm not hearing you.
Very good production value.
It's called Road to Berlin. Now, is it just me or I was under the fucking impression that this was an OVA, going to be an OVA?
No, I knew it was going to be a TV series.
Okay,
Yeah.
something. Maybe I heard it from a friend or something that it was an OVA or something, and I got kind of confused by all of it.
Yes. Also with the shorts, I'm watching the new One Room, the 3rd season for that.
I still need to finish the first one.
As opposed to Romper Room.
Yes. I'm also going to see if anyone's going to sub that Doge Zade, whatever that is. Yeah.
What are you calling me?
Just because of the premise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Main character wants to see the naughty bits of girls, has the last resort to persuade them. So it's basically a TV another version of that. Show me your panties and make a disgusting face.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly the vibe I got from it.
You know what's great about that, though? Or at least that I think's great about that, is that not only is that a real thing, but
Yeah.
they actually sell real women doing that. Like I saw it on J-List. They actually have like calendars or whatever of that.
Oh yeah,
And I was just sitting there chuckling, like, wow. Like they just have like this, like they're lifting it up and kind of looking like with this scalding kind of like I can't believe I'm doing this look on their face.
Okay, main topic. I'm good.
Is
Okay.
Mecha dead?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, maybe.
Short answer, yes, according to YouTube anime people who don't watch mecha anime.
Yeah. Anytime according to YouTube, it's one of those like, why are we listening to YouTube again?
Well, it's so frustrating because
And yes, I am completely aware of the irony that we're streaming on YouTube.
Well, again,
right now.
these are people.
Well,
whose
here's
history
the thing.
of animes
we're YouTube
only,
anime
like,
we're YouTube anime people who do watch mecha anime. As
the problem
opposed
is
to
these
fucking
people's history is based on that their only like knowledge is like from 10 years long, and plus knowing that like it's like, yes, we know the 80s was and 80s and 90s was kind of the hot long point of mecha anime.
well
we know that.
their knowledge is more like 5 years long, quite frankly. And other than that, it's Gundam and maybe Macross. And because nothing
No, it's
has
more
been
like Gundam. It's more like Gundam, Ava, and whatever Trigger thing.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's more like 5 years long.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if they're kind of a grizzled old fan, they might bring up Votoms or something like that.
Yeah, if they're like
which
older
to
than
my
me,
knowledge
visible.
has put out media, Votom's media in some time within the past 10 years. Like
So,
Votom's is
yeah.
still kind of going on.
Yeah, it's not a lot. Well, I'm gonna get to that.
They throw you a bone every once in a while.
Here's the thing. I'm
But-
gonna get to all these points, but I want your points.
Yeah,
first,
so here's
because-
what I'm saying is you've got people who categorically do not watch mecha anime. They might have happened to see a mecha anime at some point in time and enjoyed it, but it's the same kind of people who pop up with the most brainless take on mecha anime, where it's like, oh, it's a mecha anime, but it's not like other mecha anime because it focuses on the characters.
So you mean like all the original mecha anime
Like
did?
every mecha anime.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait, are you going to say that Gundam or Macross didn't have characterization?
Well, it's like name me a prominent mecha anime that didn't focus on the characters.
I can't. Even
unless-
the parodies did.
Well, even unless you're talking about shows where the mecha are the characters.
Well,
It-
name me a
it's-
prominent
it's-
one of those. Name me
Insert grid-
name
Insert
me.
Gridman vibes here.
Well, it's like name me one of those that has gotten any kind of reasonable recognition.
Transformers.
Are we gonna count that as an anime? We're gonna
Yes,
start counting that as
well,
as an anime now.
Yeah.
Transformers the franchise.
Well, because there's all right. Well, you should say all right. Then I'll go. The Japanese versions of Transformers that are exclusively to Japan.
Okay,
and
so
the
how
Brave
many?
series.
How many is that going to penetrate to these YouTube anime people?
Probably not.
No,
Maybe the
probably
Brave.
not.
Maybe the Brave series.
Maybe the Brave series if they've been around for a while.
Well,
And
here's the
at
problem
that
with
point,
it.
it's probably just Gal Gaigar.
Yeah, it's probably just Gal Gadot, and again, the thing about these people is that they'll take one look at these things and they'll say, "Ew, kitty."
And
Ew,
so
very...
here's the thing. Here's the problem I have with people who have nothing about mecha anime. Speaking on mecha anime, on this level where they're making proclamations about the genre like this. So I had this issue with my vice president back when I was running the anime club.
Was this the individual who kept asking you about the censorship in Yusuga no Sora?
No, wrong. That's not that vice president. Different vice president.
Okay.
So I had an issue
I was
with
going
my
to say
vice-
because we already know they ask dumb questions.
I had an issue with my vice president. So what would happen was we would put anime up to a vote. People would suggest anime that we would later vote on to watch in the club meeting. And what would happen is we'd have quite a few Gundam anime up there. Quite a few Gundam, some Macross anime up there. and like we'd have Zeta Gundam and Unicorn and 8th MS Team and 0080, say, would all be up on the board ready for a vote. And my vice president at the time was a person who did not like robot anime.
Oh.
Which is fine, but
Just a heretic, but okay.
what she was trying to do was limit the number of anime from a particular franchise that could be suggested per meeting.
I see.
And the problem I had with that was you can look at just off of Gundam OVAs. You could look at 0080, 8th MS Team, and 0083, and you're getting three completely different tones, three completely different sets of themes throughout.
Different people who worked on it.
Different people who worked on it.
I know what you're trying to say.
Things.
They're treating mecha as a singular genre.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
like it's all the same, and it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what it stems from is, I'm not into robot anime, so
Apparently,
So
neither
I can-
is Camino.
I don't
He
particularly
actually
care.
said that.
Well, it's like
Yeah, I
it's
don't particularly care for robot anime.
it stems from I
course he did.
don't particularly care for robot anime, so I'm gonna write off this entire genre as one thing when it really isn't. And that's the problem I have when people who don't watch robot anime try to speak on robot anime, because and here's the thing. It's one thing to not be into robot anime. It's another thing to try and be like a general purpose anime influencer
when you
and
don't know.
know
Yeah, I know.
nothing about this massively important genre of anime. And
I mean, it
it's
only
fine.
launched a bunch of fucking people's careers. I mean,
It's only like it's like a giant
even
robot
going as
franchise.
far back as Go Nagai.
Well, but a giant robot franchise is one of the biggest and most widely recognizable media franchises that exist.
Gundam was higher than Spider-Man.
So it's like,
Just saying.
it's fine. It's fine to not like robot anime, but you don't need to speak on it if you don't have perspective on it. I
Well,
don't
again,
talk a whole lot about long-running shonen fighting anime because I don't watch it,
I mean,
so I don't need to speak on it.
Yeah.
But you got
mean,
people who say,
you just
"Oh,
needed to see those people drop kicking the tree trunks. And,
I need to find this," because people talk about Mecha being dead and how there hasn't really been a Mecha stuff in the past decade, and I'm like, well, damn, son, we must have missed.
I must be in a fucking coma or something.
We must have missed Knights of Sidonia and All Noah Zero and Gargantia and the Virtuous Planet and Valvrave Liberator and
Gridman.
Cross Edge.
Feels like,
And-
fucking, like, am I the only person who remembers Valvrave with all the stupid fucking controversy and
I
shit?
think I
Apparently.
know what it is.
Well,
I know what it is.
I'm probably the only person who remembers Heavy Object or Captain Earth, and I'm
None of
not even
that.
saying all of these shows are like. I'm not just saying any of these shows are the next Gundam, but you can't sit here and talk about how Mecha is dead when we've had a ton of Mecha anime over the past
I
decades.
know
just
what
that
it
you can
is.
watch
I know what it
anime.
is.
Well, hang on. Let's do something a little closer. What about Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Gridman?
Well, here's the
That's
thing.
what I was saying.
They remember Gridman and they remember Darling of the Franxx because Studio Trigger did those. And
They remember Rika's thighs. That's what I want to get at. That people are talking about the characters. They're not really talking about the
But
mecha.
that's the hilarious thing because that was the argument they were saying. They don't. This isn't like this it focuses on characters.
Well, yeah, that's the
the
problem.
old thing
Is
didn't.
they think Mecha is about the robots when it really isn't. But they don't.
Usually not. No.
I
They
know what
don't
it is.
really-
I know
they don't
what it
like
is.
to-
Hold on.
they don't
I have
actually
the
want
answers
what
for all these things.
I'm gonna tell you what's going on here. They think that Mecha is about the robots when it really isn't. So when they watch something like Darling in the Franxx or like Gridman, that's really about the characters, which is the vast majority of other mecha anime, but they don't know that. So they come out with this thing. It's like, oh, well, I don't like mecha anime because I'm not into giant robots in particular, but I'm into this show and it has giant robots in it. But really, it's focusing on the characters. But I haven't watched a single other giant robot anime, so I think it's about the robots when it's really about the character. When it's really about the
But
characters,
here's
but
the
I don't
other
know
thing.
that.
These shows will focus on the characters, but the merchandise,
Well, no one's forcing you to buy shit.
no, hold on. But the merchandise focuses on the mecha, especially for older shows. Like Gundam. Yes, we know Gundam's about the characters, but what do we see as merchandise? You know, the mobile
Okay.
suit. Same thing for all these Real Robot Sunrise shows. The
Well,
only ones.
let me see your Dakimakura of fucking the freedom.
Well, so here's the thing. All this like real.
So people think that Mecha focuses on the Mecha based on the
fact that they
Well,
sell it
No,
like
it's
merged in-
it's
Yes,
based on the fact that they
yes.
haven't fucking seen any.
yes,
That's what it's
it. They
based
see
on.
The Mecha, based on the Mecha merchandise, but they think that's the focuses. But when you actually,
Well, here's the thing.
Well,
but they think that's a bad thing anyway.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, no,
if
I'm
they
not.
fucking
I'm just
sit
saying.
down and watch some of it, they'd figure out, oh, I'm really stupid. This is all about the robots. This isn't all about the robots. It's about the characters. Because
Okay,
here's another thing: is try animating robots for 25 minutes.
yeah,
Like it's gonna take you. It's gonna take you a lot fucking longer.
Anime.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
my anime.
exactly. And we know why
Because
BZ
you
has made his
bankrupt my
anime.
studio. It'll be Homer Simpson. Say, I love to put the Homer Simpson's car analogy. If you would have put me in charge of a mecha anime, because you'll bankrupt the studio after one episode.
Yeah, I was just gonna say what you'd bankrupt the studio.
I want shading here. I want meticulous detail, and you know, don't skip on any of the line art.
Yeah.
Any of the panel lines.
Okay, you guys will be able to answer this. I think we've got a thing in the chat here that says, "I wonder what you guys feel about nothing in this genre is good anymore since a dead genre argument." Yeah, that's
How did these people know nothing in this genre is good when they haven't watched any of the good stuff
okay
that
I
made the
have,
genre?
I have one word that disproves this: Thunderbolt.
Yeah, and they'd know, but they don't watch Gundam, so
So
They
they
watch
wouldn't know.
like IBO or
yeah, they
Blade.
watch IBO and they watch
Well, and
IBO
those
and the
are
stuff
ready-
that and that's not bad, but they're not UC people. They're not like
Oh, okay.
They're not going back and
I gotcha. They don't like it's
they-
like watching one
probably
of the
haven't
Star Trek spin-offs.
they probably haven't seen the original Gundam TV series or Zeta or Double Zeta. Or they don't follow the Universal Century, probably.
And to be fair, that can be intimidating for some people. I mean,
I think that's one of those things that's artificially intimidating.
well, yeah,
Well, like-
I don't disagree, but if you're coming from an outside and you see all this stuff and you don't know the timelines or where it goes, what to watch first and when, it probably does come across as okay. I feel like I need a flow chart here.
I don't. Here's my thing: is I don't know where people are getting the idea that this is like a massive confusing thing. Like Fates, I can understand. It's
That's
Fate
not helping,
and fucking and Heaven's Feel and Unlimited Blade Works, and then we
Grand
got the
Order.
Grand Order and all that, and like it turns out that neither of those two things are connected, but you don't know that.
And
What?
then like you have like the Dean anime, and you have the Unlimited Blade Works done by Derp.
UFOtable.
Yeah, UFOtable.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but it's like Gundam is less confusing than that. So it's like, okay, you basically you watch anything that's Universal Century in the order it came out, and you're good.
Yeah.
Realistically, all you need, the TV series is the only thing you need to watch in order. Gundam, Zeta, Double Zeta, and Char's Counterattack. Everything else you can literally watch at any point in time. I watched 8th MS Team before I watched First Gundam.
Which I guarantee you liked it better the second time around.
Oh,
You guys missing out on
so good.
F91. You guys missing out on F91. People.
I have it on the shelf. Calm down.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
I'm gonna bring everybody down a notch here. I think you'll like this. Speaking of robot and mecha anime, okay, here's one that was great. It was a parody. I don't know if you guys saw this or remember this. It came out a couple years ago, called Daimedala.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It's really fucking funny. Here's the little plot. I just took it from Wikipedia because I thought the way to describe it was funny. Okay.
Yeah. Daigunder. Is that it?
No, Daimedala, he said.
Yeah, Daimedala. Yeah. Okay. It's probably supposed to be a pun on dime a dollar.
Oh, okay.
The
penguin boner. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The plot it's fucking hysterical. The plot line goes like this: Koichi Madanbashi is a high schooler who possesses high aero particles, which are used as an energy source for the robot Daimedala. He obtains these particles by groping females and using them to power up his robot in order to fight penguin-shaped robots from the supposedly evil Penguin Empire. And I should point out, these penguins all look like they have an erection when they're walking around because their tails are in the front.
Right.
They almost look like the Methus in that regard.
You know what that actually reminds me of?
The whole thing is fucking ridiculous.
That reminds me, and that just put this idea
here
in
it
my
is.
head. That reminds me of this series from 2003 called Godanner.
Oh,
Yeah. The very infamous GIF you see where she pulls the phone out of her chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from that.
But it's like you can only really know about this stuff if you have some curiosity around robot anime. And
Well,
really, that's what I'm looking for, is some fucking curiosity. Don't just saying shit because no other mecha franchise has gotten as big as Gundam or Macross has in the past 30 years.
It's unlikely. It's unlikely too, simply for the fact that those are legacy titles. They've been around forever.
Well, here's the other thing.
Okay. If something were to get that big, we can't measure it now. That's number one. Number
It
two
would take a little while to say the least.
is that number two is that we can't just we can't judge all mecha off of the fact that we haven't had a Gundam or Macross in the past 30-40 years. Like, what other genre do we treat like that?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, now I want you to hear me out.
Is there an answer to that question though?
Wait, listen.
What other genre? What other genre do we treat like that?
I don't know. But
is it possible that we don't treat any other genre like that, and that mecha gets this kind of scrutiny for no reason? Because I think that's the case.
The thing that you gotta remember is, other than Gundam and Transformers, a lot of mecha anime are kind of in this position of where, okay, they most of them had just the one show, and they never had anything more than the one show.
Well, I mean, Gundam was almost that.
Wait, listen. They have very dedicated niche audiences where you'll still see stuff for like you'll see a new Elgine toy or model kit. You'll see a new Dunbine toy. You'll still see new merchandise for these things that haven't had, or Votons. Votons get stuff regularly, despite having doing as much. Or
yeah, again, like they always throw old fans a bone of some of these like bigger, older franchise from time to time.
Well, that's the thing
Yeah,
is you don't know about that unless you have some curiosity around robot anime.
Well, right, exactly. Like you wouldn't know about Maz and Kaiser if you weren't really paying attention.
And the other thing is, and an extension is that there's probably more Mecha stuff as far as merchandise goes than there was in the 80s.
Oh,
even though the
sure.
80s,
I 100%
Have
guarantee
you
that.
seen a fucking Bandai booth? Like at a big con, like AX or something? Holy shit!
Dude.
and that's because it's possible to do these more complex designs that were very difficult to do in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Zeta was notorious for this.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
I
that
mean,
and
there was
the
a Transformers
Mamoru Nagano was basically just sort of like
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like,
There was a
I guarantee the
Zeta in the
creators at the plants
doesn't
like,
look-
what the fuck? I can't make this thing.
well, it's that
No.
and like we had a Gunpla Renaissance back in 2013.
Yeah, it's true. We did. There was a surprise, and I think, if you want my honest opinion, I think the Build Divers thing really helped that.
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the entire Gundam Build franchise really
Really,
catapulted
kind of grabbed people's interest in that again.
and like not just Gunpla specifically, but model building in general.
Yeah, exactly. I think. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of people that do it around me personally, but like my cousin, for example, he doesn't do gunpla or anything, but he likes old cars. You know what I mean? Like he'll do model cars, and I mean like really intricate shit. By the
Oh
way,
yeah.
like I mean he'll sit there with like a fucking like microscope looking deal, you know, on his eye with a fucking fingernail polish kind of stuff, painting it,
Oh, that's yeah.
and this like paint stuff costs more than fucking like hundreds of dollars and shit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just
so
realized
it's
that.
part of the whole thing where like
Yeah.
people are kind of talking about Mecha again nowadays is that Gunpla is really taking off in a big way.
And like I said, you can go to Barnes and Noble and
They sell it in Target now too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Walmart.
exactly. I mean, like that's not the craziest thing I've seen at the bookstore. I mean, I still think it's the drone. I'm sorry, I can't get over that. You go up to the thing, you got like the Rosetta Stone language learning software back there, and you have a fucking drone.
See, you can make these crazy, complicated designs that were not possible then. The Garland from Megazone 2-3 you can make now.
Right.
You know, there was no model
how many of
kit.
these people have even seen Megazone 3?
People should.
Yeah, that's the problem.
There
I
was
mean,
no-
they should, but how many of these people that are saying Mecha is dead have even seen it?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
There was no
They're
model
fans.
kit. But there was no model kit of the O, or I think it's pronounced Geo actually, from Zeta Gundam, when Zeta was out originally.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised about that. But so that's the whole thing. And like, again, you have to have some curiosity around this stuff to be into mecha anime, and in my opinion, to be able to talk about it on a level where you can make those kind of proclamations. And that's that's the
A
issue
really
I'm having.
nasty analogy, and I don't like that I just thought of this. I really don't. The people that are sort of saying Mecha's dead, in that way, sort of remind me of people that said they were really big into rap, but really only listened to Vanilla Ice. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what?
Well, it's like it's people who have gotten into the most recent superficial parts of the genre.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh, look,
which
there's
is
one
fine,
from,
but it's not a license to make proclamations like Mecha is dead.
yeah,
or anything
look,
like
there's
that.
there's one from 9 months ago, Gigook. I think that's how you say his name on YouTube.
Yep.
The Fall of Mecha.
Yeah, and
So, yeah, so what the
I would like to know what Gigux Mecha credentials are. Because listen, I'm sorry, we've talked about this not gatekeeping thing. We talked about all this. We talked about all this on like a subcultural level, and I'm basically done. Listen, and especially if you're trying to speak on a level where you're speaking with authority on something, okay, I'm gonna have to check your credentials. And if you're right, you're right. But I'm gonna look at someone saying the fall of Mecha, and I'm gonna have to ask them questions like, oh, what do they know about Mecha? What is their history with the genre?
yeah.
I
They
just got this hilarious visual of you sitting there with a clipboard and like doing like sitting there with like a pen and a with your glasses and kind of going, okay, check this, okay. So, what would you say was the last one you've seen? Like you said, I'm gonna check your credentials.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
I'm sure. In the chat, I'm sure he gives a good detailed history of the genre, but the problem is the lack of the context. Again, you have to add in the merchandise. See, that's the thing. I want people to understand you can't separate the merchandise aspect from the mecha genre, because the two are so tied together to understanding why these things are the way they were.
VZ is feeling my pain where everyone wants to talk about anime, but no one wants to talk about anything at all having to do with the business about anime.
Well,
yeah. I would love to know
there's
why.
a very blunt and easy reason that people don't want to, but
I would love to do.
I'd go there, but I know it's going to not going to.
I would love to know. Yeah, probably modern merchandise. I'm still responding to chat. But again, it's like, because knowing about the history of mecha anime in terms of its product, why were there a whole bunch of these companies that sort of started up in the 70s, early 80s that just suddenly died off because their shows weren't doing as well? But at the same time, concurrently, the OVA market sprang up, where the video was the product that was selling, and because of that, mecha design exponentially got more out there, because they didn't have to worry about making these things into 3D form. Because again, you of course know about like the suits from Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who doesn't love power armor?
Those things would never. No, yeah, power armor and the motorcycles that have to transform around that shit.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fucking awesome, but
there's no way they could have done that in the 80s.
That would have been a little bit of a hard sell to the manufacturer. They'd be like, "What the fuck?" That would almost be like the musician thing that I said that one time, like where it's like I wanted it to sound like I'm inside of an orange. like and Anubis had it best, like just with this, what in the fuck are you talking about? Look on your face. If you want to play with the dials, you go ahead.
So again, I think it's because the lack of component, that crucial component of knowing, it's like okay, like I'm sure they'll talk about, but can they talk about like, well, you see, Gundam's original manufacturer wasn't Bandai, it was Clover, and Clover used an older design of the Gundam, which is why the toy looks highly inaccurate to the, it's like, but you won't hear those people talk about that.
How about people talking about how it was Gunpla originally that saved Gundam from obscurity?
Yeah, because it was Gunpla, and also the fact that it acknowledged the military aspect of Gundam and the customization of, now you can sort of customize and have
the only person
you yourself
realize that
you yourself in the battle. You yourself can be in this, the 1 year war. Make your own Zaku, custom Zaku.
No, I mean that was something that if you look at the history of it, there were actually, at least the first go around, more probably women watchers of it. I know that's strange, but it was actually true when it first came out.
That's really one of the things that people don't talk about the anime subculture in general, is like the legit role that women have played in the popularization of a lot of things that are stereotypically more male.
At least a third of all comic market people are women.
At
least
90% of the first comic market was women.
I'm referring to now, but yeah. So I mean, insert jokes here about Yowie Day. Isn't that day 2?
I think you're right.
I heard something about that. Like day 2 is when all the Yowie bait comes out, and it's like, oh boy, that's when all the Gundam wing porn makes its rounds. Well, I guess I don't know how well that still does, but I mean, I don't think it's one of those things like Sailor Moon or Evangelion where every year there's more.
I mean, truthfully, there is less mecha anime than there was in the
Well, yeah, if you go by percentage of anime made versus what of it is mecha, especially. Like if you're going by the actual ratio of total anime made versus how much is mecha, then definitely. I mean, that was sort of a time thing.
Yeah, again, you have to have the interest has to be the you know, even though otaku and not, you know, just otaku, you would say would sell, or people interested in mecha, but it's still, it still has to be reliant on its original basically selling to young boys, the boy market. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, that population has been sort of declining in Japan.
Insert special from the UK now.
and the one yeah, and those that probably aren't interested in mecha or just interested in what's there already. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
well, they're not going to be interested in something brand new coming out.
Yeah, or well, it's like, you know, would they be interested in, well, especially if it's something like UC Gundam based. So it's like, I don't want to watch this. It looks old. I don't know.
Well, I wasn't even going to say that. Then you have the crowd that are just sort of like skeptical, like, oh, unicorn, it's like fan fiction. I actually heard, I think it was Colony Drop who said that. That was their opinion of unicorn. It comes across like bad fan fiction.
Well, that was Anime World's Order assessment of narrative.
To be fair, narrative wasn't that great.
It was all right.
It was okay. Nothing I would get too.
They were complaining about the new type ghosts.
Yeah, really? Because that's the most ridiculous thing in Gundam.
I think past a certain point, I think you could really take any Gundam OVA and look at it as a fan fiction, because that's basically what they are.
I mean, how many are actually made by Tomino?
What's like, what a dumb take. 0080. Oh, they're making a secret Gundam, and a bunch of Zeon soldiers sneak in and try to destroy the secret Gundam, but a kid finds them out. 0080. Yeah, exactly. Number one is like all of them start with they're making a secret Gundam.
Or a prototype of something.
Yeah, 0083 is the most like...
0083, they're making a secret Gundam with a nuke. Oh! And the Zeons steal it. Oh!
But the part that always gets me, even though I like 0083, is this never happened. We're not mentioning this in the history.
Yeah, they delete all the data. They always, it's like those like we
Look
talked
bad.
about it. We talked about the Inuyasha movie. It's like those long running shonen anime movies where they kind of have to fit it into any part of the story. So it has to always revert to the status quo every time at the end.
Yeah, any Dragon Ball
Like,
movie.
yeah, I was gonna say the
One
Dragon Ball
Piece movie.
Hey, hang on.
Ranma half.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z movies aren't considered canon for the most part.
No.
I think only Broly is, and that's a super movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
But the Z ones, like like all the stuff like Tree of Might or anything like that, that's not considered canon.
yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying. But that's a dumb take to say. Oh, the
Yeah,
unicorn is fan fiction. Narrative is fan fiction. Might not have liked them, but they're just as legitimate as any other animated piece of Gundam media.
Yeah, I thought it was dumb too.
But I put the closed caption on and I did watch some chunks of Giguk's video, and I'm not even sure what he's saying. The Fall of Mecha video. I'm not even sure what he's saying.
Like, do you mean that in a literal sense because you can't understand him because he's talking real fast?
No,
or...
I'm not certain he's saying anything, because he's talking about how what I gather from it is that he doesn't necessarily see anything in the future of the mecha genre except for things like Darling in the Franxx and things like more Gundam and more Code Geass.
Yeah. They're doing a new Gridman, by the way.
Of course
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
And which okay. Did both of you watch that or no?
I didn't finish it.
I
watched
did,
like the
I
first
did.
episode.
Okay,
Didn't finish it.
but you saw probably enough of it to know who the characters are and stuff, right?
Yeah, I understand what's going on.
Okay. All right. So, question time. Somebody asked me this. Akane or Miss Thigh Girl? I can't think of her name offhand.
Rika.
Rika, thank you. Yeah, Rika or Akane? Go.
Akane.
I honestly haven't watched enough to make an educated opinion on that.
Okay, I think the funniest thing I saw was somebody who said, Rika in my heart, but Akane in my loins. I thought that was funny.
But
as for me, yeah, I like Akane. What can I say?
And that's kind of the problem, is that not the Akane grid, back on the Giga video. That's kind of my problem, is it's one thing to. So we got the Code Geass. We know Code Geass is going to continue. They're going to try and continue that franchise. We know we're obviously going to get more Gundam. We know,
and they still do Code Geass robot stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we know that obviously there are going to be more mecha. There's going to be more mecha stuff coming out over time.
I completely forgot.
Know.
I completely forgot. And this is Sunrise 2. The new Wataru, which is something only I know about, because I know about that whole late 80s, early 90s thing where SD mecha with a total disregard for the hyper seriousness, and we're going to be super goofy and, more lighthearted. The total antithesis of, like, the real robot thing. That's been having a new one out.
Well, shit, we got a new Zoids, like
oh yeah, new
was
Zoids.
It earlier this year? And I don't necessarily like it.
That's on Netflix. That's by the way, that's been on Netflix now. And Hasbro's gonna release the toys of that.
Oh,
so.
I guarantee you Hasbro. Like Zoids is coming back again. I might not necessarily like it, but Zoids is coming back.
But it's there. I mean.
So and like that's my thing. It's not hard. It's not hard to be able to speak on the genre. You just have to actually watch the genre and actually pay attention to the genre. And it's one thing to not have a lot of like experience with it and look at all the I know what Gundam is because I've been into anime for more than 15 seconds.
Because I have an internet connection.
I know Code Geass because I watched Adult Swim, and I know that they're coming out with the new stuff. And I'm being slightly reductive, but at the same time, this is like, uh, and I know about Gridman and Darling in the
Evangelion.
Franxx. Obviously, I know about Evangelion because I've been into anime for more than 20 seconds. I know about Gridman and Darling in the Franxx because those came out very recently and were very popular.
And
But I don't
controversial in some cases.
But I don't
What
see a
does
lot more.
Promare
Well,
have Mecha in
hey,
it?
I-
Did Promare have Mecha in it?
I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to speak
Okay.
on it. But so like, but but I'm not really seeing a whole lot of other giant robot anime pop off like any of these. So it's very easy to come to the conclusion that, well, something might be wrong with the mecha genre. But to me, that comes off as a sort of a failure to like look into the stuff and see what's going on. Because if we look at Zoids has been around since the late 90s. Like
Actually, Zoids as an IP.
well, you're gonna talk about you're gonna talk about the toys. I get it. I'm with you. I'm talking about the anime because the anime is what we're talking about.
All right.
Zoids has been around since the late 90s, and other than like shit mecha anime people know about, like Votoms and Braves and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the longest running like mainstream mecha franchise that people have heard about, other than like Macross and Gundam.
What was the longest one you said?
It's you got Macross and Gundam, of course, and I'm saying Zoids might be one of the longest running mecha franchises that people actually know about.
Zoids, yeah.
Don't forget Voltron.
Voltron, sure,
No,
but
see,
I
Voltron,
don't
yeah,
know
but the
if
weird
I'd
thing-
call that a franchise because we had Voltron back in the
because
80s,
here's the
and
thing,
then
here's
we
the
had this
thing.
gap, and then Netflix all of a sudden says, "Hey guys, remember Voltron?"
No, I'm gonna chime in. It's other than the original show, all new Voltron has been outside.
Not really
Yeah.
my
Well,
point.
well,
but okay.
it's also
That's what I'm
also
saying.
it's also that. Well, by that token,
so-
we'd also say Robotech is one of the longest running franchises.
Yeah. Well, they cheated. That's 3 shows. The Voltron again. It's other than the original show. It's been because there was the '90s Voltron that was CG that only I saw, which was made here. There was the one from before the Netflix one. There was the Nickelodeon Voltron show.
That just hearing that kind of makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Yeah.
Thinking
yeah.
that you said it, but I was thinking it.
But
Yeah,
so I think Zoids might be the longest running
No.
other mecha show that people know about.
No, Transformers, because you got to include the Japanese ones there.
I-
There's a lot of Japanese Transformers.
I
produced.
get it, but people know about the Japanese Transformers in the same way that people know about Gundam and Macross and Zoids.
People in their brain have it that Transformers is Japanese, even though it's
That-
a half and half,
Um,
depending on which.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
Maybe, because again, certainly not the Michael Bay movies. Okay.
Which
Oh,
is what
God.
most people I know
Well,
think about.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's
Like
the
at this
sad
point,
thing.
uh,
That's a sad world that people equate Transformers with that now.
well,
like-
before that, Transformers was kind of a niche kids thing. Like people weren't
No, it was
fucking real
80s
real
nostalgia. It was 80s
80s
thing.
nostalgia. Yeah, same thing.
And the only people that were keeping up with whatever was me, because it was like, oh look, the new Transformers, whatever. Okay. This time they have little robots called Minicons with the most hilarious, terrible dub. And oh my god, that is the worst animation ever. Like worst art, like the worst QC art ever in a series, where the Japan got the better version, but we got like the early version. Yeah, so that's what I mean.
But I'm saying like So
Alright.
people recognize that Zoids was on Toonami. Like people remember
Right.
that, and there was a gap certainly, but it is still going on, and they had an anime started back in 2018, and now they're running one now, and looks like there's another one. There's another one currently like coming out. So I think that it no doubt is very difficult to try and chart the trajectory of the Mecha franchise. But I think that it's an extremely short-sighted take to say that it's dead. And I
Yes,
think
yes.
that it required I think you can kind of do it, but I think it requires a bit more understanding of the genre than a lot of people who are making these takes seem to have.
So what would be the solution for people to sort of, if we can provide one?
Watch Mecha anime.
I was gonna say stop listening to YouTubers and watch watch the actual shows.
Watch
Well, the
watch
problem is,
Mega
what would-
anime.
what
Watch
would
some
people-
Zoids and shit.
What would they start with, or what would be good quantifiers?
Well,
of-
so
really
okay,
depends
so here's it depends, because do they want to start with Gundam? Because there's really no way around it that they're gonna have to watch Mecha anime to understand it. Do we want to start them off with Gundam? Do we want to start them off with something more offbeat like Zoids? Because chances are they at least know what Gundam is.
And then of course you have to ask, like, do you want the more mecha or do you want super robot?
yeah,
Well,
do you
yeah,
want?
part
the
of-
focus to
how
be
do you want to
characters?
approach it?
Part of the issue is, we're gonna have to assume that these people don't really know.
Yeah, I mean there's that too. If you have to ask them and their response is, what does that mean?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
want
you're
more
gonna
character
need to do
focus?
some
Do you
more
want the-
homework there.
Yeah. Do you need the more character focus? Do you want or the robot focus, or do you want your mecha to be more realistic, or you want it where anything can happen? They can do anything the plot demands.
So and maybe this is just my like, Toonami generation bias talking, but if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I know what Gundam is, I know what Darling in the Franxx is, I know all this shit. I want to understand mecha anime on a deeper level than that," I might recommend they watch Zoid's Chaotic Century, like the original Zoid's anime
Mm.
from 1999. And again, maybe this is my Toonami generation bias talking, but I think that kind of
Or you can scare them off by recommending Raza Fawn.
well, we're not going to go there. But
Would watching Evangelion scare them off?
again, we're not. And by the
Not for robot reasons.
well, by that point, they already know what Evangelion. They at least know what Evangelion is. It's not. That's number one. Number two, I wouldn't really like if someone wants to understand mecha anime. Evangelion is one of the last ones I'd recommend.
Considering that it's a lot less about robots and stuff and a lot more about
Which is weird, because that was a lot of, in my experience, that was a lot of first people's mecha was Evangelion.
Maybe that's the problem.
yeah, I guess.
Maybe they need to watch Zoid's Chaotic Century.
In the 2000s, when I was working with someone on a comic that never panned out,
I need to watch one of Tomino's weirder ones.
the only mecha that person saw was Evangelion.
And you see in this here show, there's a character named Shot Weapon. And they just kind of look at you like, I'm not interested anymore.
Well, okay, so here, if you wanna see, if you wanna go down this rabbit hole of mecha anime,
Which you
which I recommend, two anime that you should watch. If you're already committed to at least going in on it, is Zoid's Chaotic Century and Zoid's New Century, the first two Zoid series, because they're both different kinds of series, but both kind of encapsulate different aspects of mecha. So like Zoid's Chaotic Century is a lot more like First Gundam in that it is very character focused. It is a war story. It's trying to actually, it has a message to send. It's actually trying to do some real shit. It's a very real anime. Whereas Zoid's New Century is all fighting. It's comedy and fighting, and that's it.
I remember liking not the Zero one, but the what's the first one called?
Zoid's Chaotic Century.
Yeah, the one that had the Ultrasaurus in it.
Yeah, the Ultrasaurus. Yo, dude.
That's the one.
The Ultrasaurus is my shit. Yeah, we're gonna mount a thing on this giant Brachiosaur Zoid that fires shells that are so dense they have their own gravitational field. You're speaking exactly to me.
What was the one that was bad that didn't go anywhere? Fusors?
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
Speaking of all this stuff, it doesn't really relate to Zoids in any way, but I'm sure Anubis will get a laugh out of this. Remember Sarcophagus?
Lord Sarcophagus. Listen, if I ever make an MMORPG, I'm naming one of the bosses Lord Sarcophagus.
Which, of course, was, pronouncing the wrong
pronouncing
syllable.
sarcophagus wrong.
Yeah. But it does almost sound like some kind of mace weapon or something, doesn't it? Sarcophagus, I'll hit you in the face with it.
But, okay, so if we all agree that mecha anime isn't dead, where do we think it's going? And we'll close out the show on that.
Okay. I'll give my thoughts on that since you guys have been talking more than me. Right. I think obviously we're going to see the big ones continue to chug along. I mean, obviously your Gundams and your Macrosses and Votom like that are going to continue to put things out here and there. Some more than others, of course. And I think you'll get probably a couple of throwback potential remakes or new things from other things. Just trying to capture more attention for stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that will be, but I'm sure there will. And again, some of the stuff that, like Code Geass, of course, is going to continue. Obviously, some shows have kind of wound down, like Full Metal Panic or any things like that. But I do think in the future we're going to have new ones that pop up. I mean, like Captain Earth or Volve Rave or whatever. I mean, I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's going to continue. I don't think it's going to ever be like the 80s again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Because a lot of people, what I think they're missing the point there is that a lot of that came from the OVA boom.
Like, yeah, the OVA boom and the toy market.
And not to mention the Japanese miracle, the economy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which just gave them a lot more disposable income to do all these projects and shit. Whereas now, since it's mostly done completely by committee, you kind of have to get everybody on board so they'll actually give up the capital to even do it. So, I mean, there's probably some level of...
Also, the sad reality that very few people know how to do 2D mecha the way...
Well, not only that, but toys in general... so merchandise is going to be a little bit more limited because let's be real here, kids nowadays like to play on their computers.
Yeah, it's only for collector people.
It's just people who like mechanically minded shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's always going to be here on some level because there's always going to be people like us who like it. And there's surprisingly a lot of variety in it, believe it or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you said, saying it's all the same is very disingenuous to me.
It's like even just in Zoids, the first two Zoids shows are entirely different kinds of show. Like you can like one and dislike the other, and that's perfectly reasonable because they're completely different.
How much Gundam do people like some but don't like others?
Oh yeah.
And then of course there's like and if you put them against each other, I mean Gundam's nothing like Macross or vice versa. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I think they're closer than some, but I mean, Pat Labor is nothing like Leisner,
Yeah, exactly.
which is nothing like Code Geass or Fafner
Or Dunbine.
or Edeon or Elgheim or whatever. Again, Votoms. So there you go. There's a lot of variety. There's again 2 different main schools of thought. There's the super robot stuff, which tends to be a little sillier and a bit more Monster of the Weekish.
Yeah,
Not always, but usually.
And the robot could do whatever the plot,
Yeah,
wants it to.
like it's like form blazing sword, yeah, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But where's the just more? Somebody once said there's light mecha and hard mecha, and the hard mecha is usually more they take a lot more science into the accounts of what they're doing.
Yeah, the mecha could be destroyed.
I think Votoms represents that.
It's kind of the dichotomy between hard sci-fi and soft
Sci-fi
sci-fi.
and soft sci-fi. Yeah, exactly. Or low fantasy or high fantasy
Yep.
in a way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Whereas Gundam sort of straddles that line because
Gundam's always been in the middle. There's a
right,
sliding,
because there's some things that obviously wouldn't probably work, but then there's other things that are
Ghost
just
power. My girlfriend passed in Zeta Gundam.
So don't spoil things for people.
We don't know which girlfriend.
Settle the fuck down. Now what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I mean like new type things. Obviously that's an unprovable idea as of now, but there is some sort of logic behind the whole thing of people being in space and like eventually developing powers that rely on being able to sense things from long distances and stuff like that. There was actually a really good panel we had about that. How some of this stuff was obviously just thoughts, but there was some actual level of thought behind it beyond just that's neat or that's convenient or whatever.
Or how the colony design was actually designed before
yes,
the show.
They actually made the people, from what I heard, read books on actual designs, how it would work before they actually made the show. According to that panel I was at. And I can believe that. Again, the whole cylindrical kind of space colony idea and how it works and why it was really pretty cool. I mean, it's not even an original idea. They actually took it from other stuff. But, and again, that's common in any genre. It's like, this works or this is useful. We can use this template. No, I mean, like I said, I think obviously Gundam and the big names like Macross and stuff, Votoms, are always going to kind of be around. I think there'll be new stuff that pops in, like Valvrave once in a while. I mean, Sunrise alone probably will dump out numerous ones. I'm sure.
Yeah, it seems like Sunrise and Trigger are the ones that
seem to really be picking up the slack with that.
Yeah.
Which it's a shame that there's not more, but I don't expect to see any come out of JC staff anytime soon.
All right, BZ, what's your take?
Pretty much the same thing that K-Gods had. The more or less the same assessment. You're gonna see, the legacy titles continue. Even the ones that don't get as many, you'll still be you'll still see new Macross. You'll see a new Pat Labor.
Exactly.
Then you'll just see something was like
you might even see like remakes of Pop. I could see that happening.
Remember Gridman? Well, here's the new.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was getting at. Like, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see somebody come back out and swing out and say, "Hey, we're gonna remake Edeon." Or
they just showed off a new Edeon design, but I don't know if they're doing as an anime. They did show off a new design.
Oh, I just pulled that one out randomly. I wasn't even thinking of that.
No, I know that. That's why I mentioned that.
But you know what I mean, though. That's very plausible in the age of remakes. I mean, it would not be a surprise to see some of these older shows them try to give them a new life.
Since they did Wataru, I would love to see a new Grand Sword if that would ever You know, because that's another one that's like this. Hasn't really been relevant for 30 years, but still gets new merchandise.
Just waiting for more brain power.
The show with like practically nothing but a model kit. One single model kit.
I'm corrected. In the chat, there was Planet With from JC Staff 2018. My bad.
Yeah, but the thing about any other studio than Sunrise and Trigger is it's going to be CG. Just saying,
I don't necessarily think that's a problem.
Okay, cheap CG.
I figured CG out. You ready for this? CG is good when it's used to the advantage of the show. Well, like when the show's mecha move in a way that is conducive to CG, and not like in shows like Macross Frontier, where they're trying to recreate traditional 2D mecha shots in CG. That doesn't work. But when
Seed had the same problem sometimes.
Yeah, when they do it in Gundam The Origin was really good with this, where they created shots that you could only do in CG. That part where Char's approaching the fleet at the Battle of Loom, and he's just weaving through all of the ships. You can't do that shot in 2D as well as you can do it in 3D.
Here's another thing.
The entire opening shot of that entire show, where it's Char destroying all this fleet. And the reason it's good is because you can only do those shots in CG. If you tried to recreate that in 2D, it wouldn't work.
Well, let's I actually had a conversation with a friend about this. This exact conversation came up, and it's pretty interesting from what I heard. And the idea is that traditional animation is done at, what is it, like 24 frames per second?
I believe that's the case.
Versus CG, which is not. It's done at the full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't put CG lower than that, like it is a animation, because the reason it works in traditional animation is because it gives it a lively, vibrant quality to it.
Well, it's
they
also
cut out the frames. They cut out the frames in the CG.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, and if it's exactly. So the smoothness isn't there.
It's that, and just the way that the shots are composed. If you take Origin versus Macross Frontier, you're doing stuff in Origin that you cannot do in 2D animation. It doesn't work. Like I'm looking at the opening to Origin right now with the Battle of Loom, and you can do some of this stuff in 2D. Certainly, it's not going to look nearly as good because it doesn't have that kind of motion to it. What you can do really well with CG is high speed, very precise motion.
Yeah, what actually looked pretty good. I don't know if the new Mazinger that came out like a few years ago, Mazinger Infinity.
Yep.
That was pretty good. With the CG wasn't bad with that, and in a way, that's kind of a new reintroduction to Mazinger as a concept.
Mm-hmm. I'll just go on record, say I really like the skull stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. As for where Mecha is going, obviously Gundam and Macross are going to continue for as long as humanly possible. Obviously, we're going to have various individual mecha shows that come out every so often. I really think that if we're going to get another major mecha franchise like Gundam or like Macross, the age of basing mecha off of toys is over.
Except for Gundam, that's the only Tantum.
Well, realistically, I feel like at this point,
Tandem. Not Tantum, Tandem.
well,
Sorry.
I feel like at this point, the it's less that the mecha are based off of the toys, or it's less so that the franchise is subsisting off of its toys, and more that the franchise the franchise continues because it's Gundam, and people buy the toys because they're Gundam toys.
Yeah,
Something like that. But I feel like if we're going to get another major mecha franchise like that, it's probably going to be based off of a video game.
I could see that.
I think if that's going to happen, it's going to be connected to a video game. And it will probably be some kind of mobile game. But I think that if we get another major mecha franchise, which I don't think is impossible, it's just going to be hard to tell from the outset. Because Gundam and Macross have been around for a very long time, and that's basically the only barometer we have.
One thing that's also completely dead, with the exception of, again, Transformers, because that's a dual thing, and the CG was done in Japan, the Netflix one. So that's debatable, but you're not gonna see the co-productions of like where because there were like robot things that were like co-productions too, or
I think it kind of depends on what you mean by co-production.
Japanese studio, U.S. money.
Yeah, I don't think that sort of thing is going to happen. I think maybe, and again, this might be just my wishful thinking, but it's a possibility that we could see a major franchise off of, or maybe not even a major franchise, but Japanese studio, U.S. property. Because listen, if they got an anime studio to make a proper BattleTech anime, guess who's on board? This guy's on board. But that's all beside the point. I think I certainly don't think Mecha's going anywhere, but I think that number one is other shows are going to have to figure the CG thing out like Origin figured the CG thing out.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't like it when it's... I don't know, there's some times when I just don't like it. Like, for example, Code Geass, Akito the Exiled. There was a lot of it in that, and a lot of it rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just I don't like it when it's that much of it.
I'm gonna tell you, and this is me, I think I've nailed down that when they're trying to recreate the same shots you would do in 2D Mecha, it doesn't work. I think that when they're doing things you can only do with CG, that's when it works, because it really lets the CG shine, and it really like where else do you find the opening battle to Gundam the Origin?
Right.
Like in what other kind of anime are you going to find that? The techniques of 2D mecha animation just aren't up to that level. You can't do this kind of thing. You can't have these kinds of shots.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mecha's not going anywhere, but they're going to need to figure some stuff out about this genre before it can really take off in a big way. And it might not take off in a big way. Like, if we're measuring by Gundam and Macross, it's probably not going to take off in a big way like that. But I think it's abundantly possible for us to have a new prominent mecha show. But the genre's gonna have to figure some things out before then. And truth be told, and maybe this is hindsight being 2020, but if you run back like a whole bunch of these mecha shows from this decade, Crossand, Star Driver, Majestic Prince, Captain Earth. You did have Schwarzmarchen, which was based on the Muv-Luv franchise. And that's like, there aren't a whole hell of a lot of anime based on that franchise, but that's been around for a while and it's reasonably popular. But a lot of this stuff, if you asked me, I probably wouldn't say that it's going to pop off like in any way like Gundam did. Like I probably wouldn't say it's gonna get its own Zeta Gundam and Double Zeta. If you run back all these mecha shows from this past decade, it's gonna, and maybe we won't be able to tell, but there's gonna have. I feel like modern mecha shows, for the most part, are missing something crucial that Gundam had, and I don't know what that thing is. And I don't think we're gonna get a franchise that runs like that with that kind of longevity until we figure that out. And to a certain extent, Zoids had this too, the first Zoids, and I don't know what that thing is. Maybe it's that it creates rather than just telling a story, it's creating a world.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's true of a lot of great long-running franchises, or even ones that weren't even necessarily long-running, but have their own sort of mythology.
Like
Like Lord of the Rings doesn't exactly have new entries really.
True,
but it did create a world.
Yeah, like Tolkien created a world, and like that's part of why that's part of what I think is working out for Votoms.
Right,
like it's kind of creating that. Realistically, that's what worked out with Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Is that their premise was, we're gonna create this world and then create like characters and factions and stuff
within it
to inhabit that world. And that,
it has entire histories within this world.
Exactly. And that Zoids did the same thing. Macross did the same thing. Gundam definitely did the same thing. And I think we're not going to see another major mecha franchise like that until someone bites the bullet and creates a world rather than just telling a singular story.
I will show you a world, as you like to say.
So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I think that's probably really all there is to say. It's obviously never going to be like it was. The circumstances won't allow it. But to say it's dead or it's going away or anything is very premature.
It's short-sighted. It shows a lack of understanding of what made this genre pop off in the way it did, and what's the developments that have been going on within the genre. That's what I think about it.
Okay. Well, I think that's probably going to be it then.
That is indeed the show. The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is ntrradio.net. VZ stuff is at vzmk2moimekagatai.wordpress.com, as well as the bigbookofidles.com. He did the shirts. That's at yashike.moe/store. Yashike.moe is where I write articles and create media about otaku lifestyle, otaku self-development, convention culture. I also run otakuentrepreneur.com, talking about business and finance from an otaku standpoint. Check out the Bakigaijin show, Otaku Midnight, Asobi FM, and the Geeky Panda stuff at thegeekypanda.net.
Shout out to Oh, sorry.
I'm on Twitter at TAnubis. VZ is on Twitter at VZMK2. The show is on Twitter at NTR_radio. I'm Tom Forcenubis.
I'm K Gods.
Where's VC?
No, he fell asleep. Shout out to SPT Lasner.
This is NTR Radio, even though Mecha dies every time we say it, I guess. This is NTR Radio.